students. This is Srikant signing in for Contracts 1. Today we are going to see the communication of acceptance and how an acceptance is revoked. You know, for a valid offer or valid acceptance or valid contract, there are certain elements to be satisfied under the Indian Contract Act. So, an acceptance to be valid, we have seen certain conditions which are to be satisfied. Number one, acceptance must be absolute and unqualified. It should be expressed in some usual or as per the prescribed mode or manner, reasonable time before revocation of offer, and it must be communicated. So, unless and until you communicate your acceptance, then it cannot be a valid acceptance. In fact, an acceptance to be valid and legally binding, it must be communicated to the offerer. Legally binding means once you give your acceptance and it has been accepted by the offerer, subsequently offerer cannot repudiate the contract. However, you have to communicate your acceptance to the offerer. Just mere intention or mental determination to accept on the part of the offeree is no acceptance. Just you cannot think that I am going to give the acceptance. You have to express your acceptance to whom? Offerer. Unless and until you express your acceptance to the offerer, it cannot be a valid acceptance. Let us see the communication of acceptance. So, communication of acceptance. Acceptance to be valid and legally binding, it must be communicated to the offerer. You cannot think in your mind with respect to the acceptance. Mere mental determination of or external indication, it is a no communication. You have to communicate your acceptance to the offerer. Unless and until you communicate your acceptance, then it cannot be a valid acceptance. It cannot legally bind both the parties. How you are going to communicate your acceptance? Right, again, it may be expressed, that is oral or written, or implied, that is from the conduct of the offeree. It should be made from the person who has an authority to accept and not from any other to whom offer was made. That person alone is capable enough to give his acceptance and not otherwise. For example, A is there, B is there. A gives the offer to sell his house to B. Then who has to accept that offer? Only B alone can accept that offer. Only B alone can give his acceptance by way of communication. So, we have seen when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto. Assent means acceptance. The proposal is said to be accepted. That means offeree must communicate his acceptance with respect to the offer. The communication of acceptance is deemed to be made by any act. So, when the parties are face to face, communication could be oral. When they are at a distant place, communication could be made by post, telegram, by a message on phone, through a messenger, or in any other reasonable manner. The only thing is you have to communicate your acceptance. That is only enough here. How you are going to communicate? Maybe express communication or maybe implied communication. Express communication may be oral or in writing. Suppose both the offer and offeree are staying at different places, how you are going to communicate? Remember, in offer also, offer should be communicated. Acceptance, acceptance should also be communicated. Without communication, there cannot emerge a enforceable contract. When both offerer and offeree are residing at distant places, then you can communicate by way of post, telegram, message on phone, through a messenger, any other reasonable manner, or even email also. The basic thing which the contract stretches is you have to communicate your acceptance. You have to communicate your offer as well as acceptance. Let us see one example, that is one case law, Powell versus Lee. Even in your examination point of view also it is important. Let us go into the facts of the case. Here a school is there. In a school, certain teachers are working there. So, normally you know that when the teachers get promotion, they will get the promotion of headmaster. So, whenever they want to get the promotion of headmaster, they have to appear before one committee. It is known as managing committee. So, whoever wants to get the promotion of headmaster, they have to appear before the committee. It is known as managing committee. This managing committee consists of certain members. They will interview the teachers, and based upon the capacity and capability of the teacher, this teacher will be promoted to the post of headmaster, and this managing committee consists of certain members, right? So here one person, that is the plaintiff, he appeared before the managing committee for the post of headmaster. Managing committee interviewed this person. Subsequently, he was selected for the post of headmaster. Remember, he was selected for the post of headmaster. But however, no communication was given to the person who attended the interview that he was selected. Only this person through one of his friend came to know that he was selected. No official communication was passed by the managing committee that this person was selected for the post of headmaster. He didn't get any official communication, but only one of the member who was a friend of this person told that he was selected for the post of a headmaster. But due to reasons unknown, this managing committee or selecting committee decided not to give him a promotion, not to give him a promotion, and subsequently in a subsequent meeting they have cancelled the promotion. They have cancelled the promotion. Then this person, that is the plaintiff, brought an action against the managing committee that I have been selected as a headmaster, but subsequently they told that I was not selected for the post of headmaster. Now, in an action by this person against the managing committee, it was held that suit is not maintainable on the ground. Why? Acceptance to be valid, it must be communicated by the offeree alone, but not by any other person. That means who has to communicate your promotion? Managing committee has to communicate your promotion, by not your friend who is a member of the managing committee. Remember, that's what the court said. Acceptance to be valid, it must be communicated by whom? Offeree alone, and not by any other person or party. So this is the case law with respect to communication of the acceptance. Unless and until communication is there, there cannot be a valid contract, legally binding contract. Here Managing committee did not inform that he was selected. Only a member who was his friend, he told that he was selected. No official communication has been given by the managing committee. So subsequently, the court held that the suit is not maintainable. Why? The acceptance to be valid, it must be communicated by the offeree alone, but not by any other person or the property. So, you have to communicate either the offer or either the acceptance. Unless offer is communicated, unless acceptance is communicated, there cannot be a valid contract. Now, the question arises is how and when the acceptance is completed. When the acceptance is completed, if it is by post or if it is by mouth. Let us see those. Acceptance when complete. According to section 4 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, communication of acceptance is complete as against the proposer. Proposer means offerer. When it is put in a codes of transmission to him so as to be out of the power of the acceptor as against the acceptor, it is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. That means, for example, take one example here. B accepts A's proposal by a letter sent by post. Right? B accepts A's proposal by a letter sent by post. The communication of the acceptance is complete as against A when the letter is posted and as against B the letter is received by A. So, you have to communicate the acceptance once. If it goes out of your ambit, acceptance is complete. Once again the example, B accepts A's proposal by a letter sent by post. Here offer is also communicated, it should be complete. Acceptance is also communicated, it should be complete. As against A, when the acceptance or offer is complete, when he posts the letter, and subsequently it reaches B, and B gives his acceptance when it is complete, when the letter is received by the A. So, this is the way in which you have to convey your acceptance. Unless and until acceptance is complete, there cannot be a valid contract. Suppose you are giving your acceptance by post. Now, if you give acceptance by post, then difficult question arises as to when the acceptance is complete and the contract is concluded. So, this is what I am insisting on. The communication of acceptance is complete as against the offerer when the letter is posted. That means if A comes, drops the letter in the post box, it is complete as against A, and as against B when the letter is received by A. So, whether you give your acceptance by way of mouth, expression, express or implied acceptance, it should be completed as against the offerer as well as the acceptor. Unless and until acceptance is complete, there cannot be a valid contract. If you give your acceptance by telephone or telex, now when the parties are in each other presence, or though separated in space, yet they are in direct communication as by telephone, the contract is not complete until the offerer comes to know of the fact of acceptance. So, A is there, B is there. A has given an offer for sale of his house and B has accepted to purchase that house. When the offer is complete as against A, once the offer reaches the ear of the B, and when the acceptance is complete as against B, the acceptance will reaches the ear of the A. That means when they are in direct communication, it is not a problem. When they are separated by distance, then the offerer comes to know the fact of acceptance, then it is complete as against the offerer. In the total or in the whole, the offer and acceptance should be communicated and completed. Unless and until it is communicated and completed, there cannot be a valid acceptance and valid offer. Subsequently, no contract and no enforceability. Here, you can revoke your offer, you can revoke your acceptance. So, acceptance can be revoked by the offeree at any time before it reaches the offerer. For example, A is there, B is there. So, A tells to B that I am going to sell my house. Then B accepts the offer and B posts a letter to A. Then subsequently B changes his mind. So what happens? So before the letter reaches the A, B goes to the post office, takes his acceptance back. That means before it reaches the A, he can revoke the acceptance. So that means when the contract is created through post, then according to section 4, by the posting of the letter of acceptance, what happens? The proposer becomes bound when the letter of acceptance is posted to him. But the acceptor becomes bound when the letter of acceptance reaches the proposer. Proposer means offerer. Acceptor means offeree. So the proposer becomes bound when the letter of acceptance is posted to him, and the acceptor becomes bound when the letter of acceptance reaches the proposer, and acceptance may be revoked at any time before the communication of acceptance is complete as against the acceptor, but not afterwards. That means A proposes by a letter sent by post to sell his house to B. B accepts the proposal by a letter sent by post. Here, B may revoke his acceptance at any time before or at the moment when the letter communicating it reaches the A, but not afterwards. So, before the communication reaches the proposer or acceptor, you have to either revoke your offer or acceptance, but not afterwards. Acceptance with respect to offer and acceptance with respect to acceptance may be revoked at any time before the communication of the acceptance is complete as against the acceptor, but not afterwards. Right, this is with respect to offer and acceptance. In our next class, we are going to see another important element. It is known as consideration. Till now we have seen what is the meaning of the contract, essential conditions of the contract, then what is meant by offer, essential conditions of the offer, what is meant by acceptance, essential conditions of the acceptance, then revocation of offer and acceptance. Then we will be moving on to another chapter which is known as consideration. Yes, students, this is Srikant signing off today. Have a good day.